You can't think your way out of depression. It's not gonna happen. And believe me, I've tried. Let me tell you where I'm coming from with this. In my first job, I'm a hairdresser. And I opened my salon 20 years ago. And I became known for being really creative, a good hairdresser with good customer service, and yeah, really taking my art as a hairdresser serious. And to this day, I have like a Google 5-star profile for my hairdressing shop, because people are really lucky how much soul and love I put into this art. But there was a time when I got a little bit more successful with my shop, and I started to get into that hustle and grind mindset, like making profit and being more effective, being more productive, and squeezing everything out of it. And I was young, I was able to do that, and I pushed really hard. I worked 12 to 15 hours a day, did not make any break in between. When I was hungry, I was like ordering a pizza, rolling it up like a burrito, stuffing it in my face within 5 minutes, smoking a cigarette, and drinking a coffee, and then going again. And I was like really grinding, but I was not feeling anything inside of me anymore. I was emotionally numb. I was hollow. I was highly functioning, and but it was not sustainable. And I don't know if you know the term like high functioning depression, which is that you do not notice that people are depressed because they still function in their everyday life, but they are depressed. And with all that hustling, I lost my creativity because I did not make hair as an art form anymore. I was just doing it to get money. And with that creativity dying, something else in me died. And I went to, let's call it burnout territory. I was never diagnosed because nobody would have cared. I would not have taken time off my shop because I had to get the money flowing. And I was like functioning and still achieving things, but my body was starting to talk because my heart was not listening. And my body was starting to talk with tension because my nervous system could not relax anymore. And the tension got so big that when I woke up in the morning, my toes were curled like this, and I had to like open them. Sometimes my wife had to help me to stand up in the morning, and the pressure got more and more until two of my spinal discs broke. And so I was in constant physical pain. I was on high alert all the time in my body. I was starting to struggle with addiction again that I thought I had managed in my 20s or in my early 20s. Um, yeah, so basically it was not sustainable anymore. And I started to do something about it. I went to physical therapists who helped me with the tension in my body to release it more and more and to get my body relaxed a little bit more. But I knew if I did not do anything up here or in my heart, it will not. Yeah, I will not really make a change, because the tension was coming back every time I released something of it. And then I went to some ayahuasca ceremonies. Um, and that really changed something in me because I got two callings on the first ceremony. The first one was somehow facilitates healing spaces in a way. That's why I became a therapist afterwards. And the other one was make music. And I did play guitar before, but I never took it serious. And when I got home, I like started playing ukulele. I played guitar. I started singing. I went to singing circles. I started to host my own spiritual singing circle. And something inside me was like opening up and blooming again and feeling alive again. And that helped me to, yeah, basically rearrange things. I closed my big hairdressing shop and I opened a smaller one, and I rearranged stuff so I can be more free in there. And now I can make art again with my hairdressing. Yes, but with every pattern that you have in your psyche, so wherever, um, it's never a one and done. Like it's like an onion. You peel one layer and then you think you are like healed, everything is good now, and after a while something comes back and you're still at the same, it feels like you're still at the same place and you have to peel the next layer of the onion. And for me it came back with a real intense in 2021 because I got hit by COVID, and I got hit by COVID really bad. So afterwards I had chronic fatigue syndrome. I had real bad brain fog, chronic inflammation, could not walk a lot, just maybe one time around the house, could not walk stairs. I could not play guitar anymore, and I could not sing anymore because all of that was too demanding for my body. And this went on for a real long time, and I'm still not fully recovered. I managed to find a pace in which I can go about my day now. Um, for the first like month, I could barely work an hour a day. Now I'm up to 2-3 hours a day working with my clients, and my customers. That's, yeah, but I'm far from really being back to normal. And in that first time, I was giving up on myself because I did not know if there is a possibility that I will be back to normal again, that I will be able to live a normal life again, that I would be able to take a walk outside or ride a bicycle or something like that. Um, but I knew that something had helped me before, and that was making music, but I could not make the music that I was making before. And then I took my MacBook and started producing music in bed. And yeah, I created a song and found a singer on Fiverr who sang my first song, which I still not did release because it's, I don't know, it's somehow so precious to me that I'm not able to release it out into the world. I don't know what's going on with that, but that's a topic for another time. Yeah, so I started making music, and that kept me going. That helped me not fall into like a real bad place. But what I noticed is when I create music, I also can get into that hustle mindset and start making more music and trying to, maybe I can make a living off of music. That might help me because I'm not able to like be a hairdresser in that way that I was before. But the music that comes out when I'm hustling sounds like shit. Like for me, it's like there's no soul in it. And so I actively had to take a break and say, no, I don't make music until like inspiration is hitting me again. And now I've found a really good flow. Like I'm doing music sometimes for weeks and months, and then I have to take a time off, and then for 2-3 months nothing is happening until the inspiration comes back and I'm creating again. Yeah, so that's a trap that I tend to fall into, like being creative, and out of that joy of creating and bringing things into the world and feeling alive, I tend to get more productive and tend to get more into hustling and more effective. And yeah, and that's the thing. That's the moment where I'm stopping myself and, yeah, taking a break. That's what I learned. So I'm really good at recognizing that pattern. I also want to tell you the story um, of someone who lost everything. He lost his house, he lost his girlfriend, he lost his job, and money, and also even his car went into the sea, so it drowned. So he really lost everything. And afterwards, he found a place to live, but it was not really good for him. Like, there were some decent people around him, but a few people were not really good for him. And I asked him to join the hero's journey that I was facilitating. And afterwards, we sat down and I showed him Ableton because I knew he's a musician, but he did not act on that. And I showed him Ableton, and then something really interesting happened. He had a real, let's call it, manic expression episode. For a month, he was like only producing music, barely sleeping. So it was like nearly too much, but it was like a pressure cooker where finally the pressure was released and everything was coming out of him. And within a few months, he had a new home, a new job, which is a meaningful job, made new friends, yeah, and basically get his life back on track. Um, Life is not progressing like in a linear way, and he still has challenges, but he's like able to pull himself out of that again and again and keep going, um, in a way like I also do it. So the key point I want to tell you today is that the opposite of depression is not happiness. In my experience, the opposite of depression is expression. It's creativity. Um, when you're in a depressed state, there's no life force in you anymore. And when you're expressing and when you're creating, you are channeling somehow life force through you. So creating and expression is what keeps me going, um, even in really bad times. And so I urge you, when you are also in a bad space, maybe you are high functioning and still doing all the stuff that you are doing, but not feeling good with that. Or maybe you are in a state where you're not functioning anymore. I urge you, do something, express yourself in some way. If you have an instrument, play one note. If you like to sing, sing one song under the shower. If you like writing, write one sentence. If you like drawing or painting, just one line. Start somewhere. And if you're into moving your body, music and expressing your body in dance is also really helpful. Yeah. So if you want to keep going and get out of that state where you may not feel good, expression is the way. Have a good one.